Please welcome our amazing WED Inspiration Fellows. They will each introduce themselves, tell you about their entrepreneurial journey and their impact. Join me in welcoming the 2018 WED Inspiration Fellows. That was fun. Indrani, are you here? We will move on to Miriam, who is here and who is amazing.
Not used to wearing heels. I'm usually shorter than this. Good morning, everyone. My name is Miriam Altman. I'm co-founder and CEO of an education technology company called Kinvolved. We're based right here in New York City, and I am excited to tell you a little bit about the story that got us started. So as you all know, the fall is well underway, and across the country, students and teachers are very deep into the academic year. As much as we're excited by the work that thousands of educators and their students have already achieved and that which lies ahead, in high-need communities, there are kids for whom getting to school is extremely stressful, and showing up every day is an incredible challenge. But if there's one thing that we know for sure, it's that students who don't show up to school on time every day have a high likelihood of becoming disengaged, and over time, the likelihood of those students dropping out skyrockets. I want to share a story of a student whom I taught named Alexandra Garcia. She was a student of mine when I was a high school teacher here in New York City in a public school, and she was in my class when she was in both 9th and 10th grade. As a freshman in my global history class, I wasn't sure that Alexandra was going to graduate. By mid-October, she had already missed more than half of the school days, and of course, as a result, was failing my class and all of her other classes. As a new teacher, I was extremely frustrated. Alexandra was one of nearly 1/3 of my students who were chronically absent, meaning they were missing about 10% of school days, or what totals up to a month of school per year. Her parents weren't calling me back when I made phone calls, and my administration seemed to accept absenteeism as inevitable. When I met her mother, Miss Garcia, at the first parent-teacher conference, she had no idea that her daughter was absent that frequently. Just like many parents just trying to make ends meet, Miss Garcia worked 3 jobs to support her 4 children. She had a constantly changing phone number, and she didn't speak much English at home or in the classroom. But Miss Garcia really cared, and she was invested in her daughter's success. My assumptions were challenged as I had misperceived the initial reality of Alexandra's and her family's situation. From that moment on, all of my students became well aware with my obsession over attendance, and always knew that I was going to follow up with them when they returned to class after they had been out. I always asked, I found out what happened when they had been gone, and encouraged them to make school their #1 priority. I learned that kids will share a lot if you ask the right questions and approach them with empathy rather than with frustration, which can understandably be a busy educator's default. In Alexandra's case, Ms. Garcia and I were able to intervene to get her on a successful path before it was too late. As a result, Alexandra's attendance improved, as did her grades. She not only graduated from high school, she graduated from St. John's University just over the river over there in Queens. Thank you. But unfortunately, while this is an amazing story, Alexandra's just one kid. And at the time, there was no tool set for scaling the intervention that I was able to have by engaging with her mother. And in fact, when I went back to graduation 4 years later for that particular class of students, only half of her classmates who had started in my class in 9th grade walked across the stage on that graduation day. Not surprisingly, each day of school that a child misses diminishes her opportunity to achieve. Attendance is just so critical that is actually research finds that is the primary leading indicator of high school graduation. Yet nationally, about 15% or 7.5 million kids are missing an entire month of school each year. And in high poverty communities, that rate soars to nearly 50%. If we could just get kids to show up to school, data shows that we would dramatically increase graduation, college attainment, and lifelong financial opportunity. This is why I co-founded Kinvolved, a social enterprise that is tackling chronic absenteeism at scale. We spent more than 5 years working closely with teachers, students, families, and local leaders to determine the best ways to prevent disengagement and strengthen the bonds between school and home. Together, we've determined that it takes a combination of software tools and human interventions from the classroom to the systems level to move the needle on attendance. At Kinvolved, we're striving to scale Alexandra's success story to replicate it among the more than 400,000 students and families that we currently serve today nationwide, from the Northeast to the South to the Midwest, and the millions that we aim to serve as we continue to grow. Thank you.
All right. Can you all hear me?
Maybe take the handout from the podium.
Now you can hear me. My name is Samantha Nerove, and I am the CEO and founder of America Matters. We are a nonprofit. We are nonpartisan. And yeah, it's a tough thing to say these days, especially when we're based in Washington, D.C., which is a home of polarized politics. What we do is we focus on issues, and that's something that makes us different. We don't care about the politics. I tell everyone, come to the table, talk about ideas, but leave your politics at the door. Because it's only when we bring ideas together that we can come up with solutions that are going to be good for all of us and America as a community leader and America as a global member of the global community. And that's who we need to be. We need to look at ourselves globally. I've got a little bit of global experience. I'd like to say that it was all fun and travel and backpacking through Europe after college, which I didn't do. Right after college, I went in the Army. I went to airborne school. I went to Korea, then to Fort Bragg, and I was jumping out of airplanes, just in time to go to Saudi. I was on the 4th plane that left for Operation Desert Storm, but I had to fight my way onto that plane. And this is what I have to tell all young people, men and women alike, because when we talk about equality and empowerment, we need to talk about empowering everyone, men and women, the same. I look around this room and I see so many men here for a Women's Entrepreneurship Day. That's exactly how it should be, because it's only when we unify and we support each other for the content of our character and the quality of our capabilities that we become truly one nation, one community, one global world, because that's who we need to be and that's what we need to step up to. So about that flight going over to Saudi, I was a paratrooper. We thought we were jumping in. It was early. It was within the first few days after Saddam had invaded Kuwait. But my company commander hated women, hated them with a passion. Let me jump to the end of the war, and myself and 5 other women filed sexual harassment charges against him and won. Of those women, I was the one who took the worst of it. I was the senior officer in that group, and what they did to me, they tried to break me because they wanted to send me home. They just didn't want me there. He tried to keep me off that first plane. He took me off the manifest. I heard earlier somebody ask, well, what's your motto? What do you tell yourself and what do you tell others? And mine is step up, stand tall, and speak my piece. Because no one can stop me from doing that. I won that battle. I got on that flight, and I landed a day later in Saudi. I had AK-47 shoved in my face. I was held at gunpoint, knife point. I was attacked by a group of bodyguards who did not think that as a female lieutenant, I had any right to tell male soldiers what they should or should not be doing. I didn't really like that. Unfortunately, when there's a fight or flight response, I have one, and it's fight. And I'd like to say that I was smart enough to back away from armed bodyguards. I wasn't. And so when they came at me with knives, I ran at them with fists. It was ugly. My troops grabbed me, dragged me out of the building. Again, step up, stand tall, and speak your piece. When I started America Matters after graduation, I chose to start a program called Women Lead the Way. We take on other empowerment issues. Last year, we were able to pass legislation in different states to stop female genital mutilation here in the United States. This year, we're taking on a program, Women Lead the Way, to empower women in national security and foreign policy, to have stronger, louder, more effective voices, so that they're on TV, they're speaking on the panels, they're invited to the conferences. And we work with women internationally in countries that are growing in their female participation, countries like Egypt, Jordan. Israel's been leading the way for decades, and it's women who are leading the way in bringing power, peace, and prosperity, because it's when the countries who empower their women, peace and prosperity becomes their calling card. Thank you very much, and I will be followed by our next speaker.
Hello? I'm sorry for that. I thought I would be the fourth. Okay. Oh, hello everyone. My name is Yuki He, and I am from China. I am the CEO and founder of LiveMe, which is the popular live streaming platform in the world. I travel 15 hours here, and this is my first English speech. I feel a little nervous, but you encourage me. I feel really excited and honored to be here with so many brilliant women. I hope my story can give some strength and inspirations to you, just like other amazing people have given me in my life. It all started from when I was a child. I was in a family full of women. My grandma and mother are all independent and strong women. My grandfather passed away when my mom was just 3 years old. I never saw my grandfather. In that war times, my grandmother raised up 4 daughters by her own. Even though my mother is raised to be accomplished and a very independent teacher in China, both of them taught me the importance to believe in yourself and follow your own path. So looking back to my journey, I always followed my own path. I chose a university, a technology university, very famous in China. And in that university, only 10% of the students were female. And after graduate, I give up a lot of good opportunities, but choose a very small internet company. The company only have several people. And that is 16 years ago. Maybe few people know what internet is in China. But that company became very famous. That is Tencent, which is the biggest internet company in China. However, when Tencent started to expand, I left. I chose a very struggled early stage startup called Cheetah Mobile. In that company, I led a small app called Clean Master and gained 1 billion downloads all over the world, and which helped Cheetah Mobile listed on New York Stock Exchange. That experience let me open my eyes to the world. Even before that, I haven't been out of China. So 4 years ago, I haven't been out of China. So I can't imagine that I can stand here to give my English speech. Okay, and that experience also taught me how to do a startup. So I decided to take another challenge, to be a true entrepreneur and create a product that can be valuable to the world. So that is LiveMe. LiveMe is a very young platform. However, in the past year, we grew very fast and successfully raised 110 million US dollars in funding. And now it is a very popular live streaming platform in 60 countries and also US. Yeah, I want to build a platform that allows everyone, regardless the nationality, the gender, etc., to show their talent and to follow their dream and get support with each other. So there are a lot of brilliant broadcasters. Most of them are female, and a lot of are single mom. Yeah, I have a lot of friends on that. Jennifer is my friend, and she also a broadcaster on LiveMe. She was suffered from the depression after her partner died of suicide. Then she regarded LiveMe as a platform that can give support to herself. And finally, he found herself and start to help the others in a similar situation. Her story inspired me a lot, encouraged me a lot. So let me start to do a lot of charity campaign to help the women, help the single mom to be better. Okay, I think it's just a start. And I take my product and career as my child. In fact, I also a mother of 6-year-old child. As soon as I finish this speech, I will take a flight this afternoon because I want to make my son's piano recital this weekend. So I think both the roles are very similar. Very similar. It's not easier, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So finally, I have to say thank God I finished my English speech. And I know that is all because of you. You're patient, you're listening, you're encouraging. You know, the power from others is always magical and amazing. And I really hope that the women all over the world can collect and help each other, give strength to each other. So at last, I want to thank for this event. Thank for WED. Thank you for you all. Thank you. I take this better than you guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny Dresden, and I'm very happy to be here. Currently, I'm an entrepreneur based in Tel Aviv, but I grew up right here in New York City. And my first job was literally working here at the United Nations to promote women's empowerment. So for me, it's really coming home. And at the time, I was fresh out of graduate school, and I had the privilege to work with a UN fund to end violence against women. We offered grants to women across the developing world to raise awareness and advocate against gender-based violence in their own communities. Now, the women activists I met at this time were truly remarkable. And as a 25-year-old trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, they made a very deep impression. They were working often in very challenging circumstances to change deep-seated cultural norms about very heavy issues like marital rape and so-called honor killings. But rather than saying, well, this is just the way it is and we need to accept it, they said, no, we're the ones who make the culture and we're the ones with the power to change it. And the way I see it, that's exactly the attitude of successful entrepreneurs. You identify a problem and you move hell and high water to fix it. And that's why many of the skills I gained as an activist have proven invaluable as a startup entrepreneur. If as an activist I was raising awareness about problems, as an entrepreneur I'm actually creating a tool set to solve those problems. And that's a very powerful position to be in. Now, over the last 4 years, my team and I built my startup from scratch. It's a platform for exploring a city by foot, and it's based on the simple premise that there's multiple ways to get from point A to point B, and often going a different route can give you a very different kind of experience. We've had lots of highs and lows along the way. The New York Times named us a top travel app. We partnered with the world's largest hotel chain, and we gained 500,000 happy users. Now we've decided to sell the technology, and I'm already working on my next startup. Now, sometimes I wonder, why would I want to do this? Wouldn't it just be easier to fall off the stage? No, that would be easier to leave. Wouldn't it be easier to just get a job and not deal with all of this stress? Well, not only is entrepreneurship a roller coaster, it's also addictive. I think once you're in it, it's very difficult to get out. And whenever I have difficult days, and there are many, I think back to my activist friends and their strength and conviction, and it really puts everything in perspective. I want to end with a quote I think really shows the power of entrepreneurship. Life can be much broader once you discover a simple fact. Everything around you and that you call life was made up by people no smarter than you, and you can change it, you can influence it, you can build things that other people can use. And once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. So go build amazing things. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I really wanted to give this speech without a paper, but I'm trying to be in 4 minutes, so I apologize in advance that I'm looking at this and not at all of you inspiring people. So hi, I want to talk to you today about a brand that we have defined in a specific way that we as a society might be losing from, the girl brand. My name is Addie. I'm a tech entrepreneur, a marketeer, a mother of 3 very young girls, a wife, a daughter, a woman, and a girl that was raised in a world where braveness wasn't a leading feminine attribute, a world where chess, tech, and science were more of a boy's game than a girl, a world where we still need the Women Entrepreneurship Day. In 2014, I founded RealFace. It was the first time I did something truly courageous in my career. I raised money for an idea I truly believed in with my co-founder. I left my very convenient job and was on a new journey, a really scary journey. To be frank, I launched the company in my mind around 2011 with an invention that I actually patented and talked about with anybody that would hear me out, but nothing more. It was only a dream. I was really afraid to do it. It took me time and another pregnancy to actually go for it. But why did it take me so long? Why was my decision to found a company in which was so much self-doubt and many U-turns? Prior to founding RealFace, I was doing the regular career to success that my parents taught me. I went to an Ivy League school. I got a corporate job. I was really trying to do well. But I had this passion to be an entrepreneur, an internal voice nudging me about starting my own business, changing something. But I always thought I wasn't capable of doing it. I don't have a good enough idea. I won't be able to raise the funds, and if I actually get that lucky strike and raise the funds, I'll probably execute it wrong and fail. I just accepted it. And then one day, instead of being afraid of this failure, I just accepted it and called it failing forward. It was a way to proceed in a world where I was questioning my abilities all the time. And I mean all the time. We wrote plans, we got them done, we made tons of mistakes, and then at the end we got acquired by the largest US corporation. But even then, at the moment when I was about to sign the deal, I was afraid. I was afraid internally of failing, even as they signed it already. I started talking to my fellow entrepreneurs, men and women, to learn that we were all scared. But as women, this fear, it led us. This fear of failure was all we could think about. While it clouded our decision making, it handicaps our fundraising, and it asks us at night, are we doing the right thing? Why do women fail forward while men step forward? What is it about us females, about our brand, that makes us a minority in this male-dominated world, in business, in leadership, in politics, in technology? And I understood that it was our brand, the brand that we were briefed to be since we were little girls. Girls are perfect, and girls are pretty, and they don't take risks. I was always a minority. I was a minority when I really liked math. I was a minority when I liked to play with computers as a little girl. And I was a minority when I decided to study computers in my undergrad. Learning how to leverage this minority to my advantage in chess always assisting me in winning many, many games. 100% of the times when I walk up to see somebody playing chess and I ask if I can play, I am always asked if I know the rules, no matter that I was chess captain of my undergrad. And this minority play has always been an advantage as a female CEO because you get invited to a lot of these events as well, and you get the right contact. So this minority play is a plus as well. And every time I set a meeting with a VC, it was always assumed that a man would enter the room. 100% of the time, my co-founder, they would look at him and say Addie, because Addie is a dual gender name in Israel. Boys are raised differently than girls. They're raised to run wild, to climb up and jump down, and that it is okay to be bad at sports and still stay on the team. They're raised to take risks all of the time, and they learn to fail consistently because it makes them stronger, manlier, and braver. We always tell our girls to be careful, to go slowly. We caution our daughters much more than we do our sons. Girls are born stronger. They develop faster in early ages, and yet men dominate the world. HP found in a study that men will apply for a job even if they have 60% of the qualifications. Women will apply only if they have 100%. Being daring and courageous is important. It sends us on our upcoming path, and we shall aspire to continue that. So what it is that I think we need to learn? I think we need to change the brief of the girl brand. By making girls strong and not only perfect, will allow them to be whom they want to be and maybe fail in that process. But more opportunities will open up, not just for those girls, but for us as a society. I want to contribute my part in changing that, and that is why I'm starting a new nonprofit for the game that I feel has helped me in my life. This nonprofit is called Chess Girls, and it was founded to instill a passion for chess in young girls in order to empower these girls from the ages of 6 to 12. Through this love of the game of chess, girls will learn to develop abilities that will assist in connecting them to STEM and develop the traits needed for business leadership: risk-taking, bouncing back from failures, problem-solving, calmness under pressure, strategy, logic, perseverance, and much more. I think we need to change the way we are raising our girls, to change the way that women are part of our society. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Indrani Pal-Chaudhuri, and I am a filmmaker and a photographer. So who in our society really shapes the future? I'll give you a hint. It's not the politicians or legislators or journalists who record what happens. It's not doctors or lawyers or engineers, which we're all encouraged to be in our society. It's not industrialists, and it's not even philanthropists. It's the artists who wield real-world changing power. The youth implement the ideas that artists share. Throughout human history, it's the myth makers who have shaped human imagination. They've shaped our beliefs and the possibilities of our future. In the past, these were priests and poets, singers, then writers. And today, it's filmmakers and artists who create our global mythology. People always ask me, why do celebrities have so much power? The reason is they control the storytelling. As artists, we have an enormous responsibility to shape human imagination in positive ways. And it's the business women and investors who support these artists and these storytelling projects that carry that responsibility to its fruition. They have the opportunity and the power to shape our future. So what percentage of mainstream films do you think are directed by women? Or what percentage of art in museums today is created by women? The answer is less than 10%, quite a bit less. And for women of color, it's less than 1%. That's the global audience. Why does it matter? Because art and films are how we define ourselves in our society. We see images of what is possible for ourselves, and we imagine ways that we can live based on what we grow up with. The excuse we always hear is that men are more bankable for business, that male directors somehow understand what their audience wants, or that male artists just are better at capturing the nuances of beauty in the world. We know that that's not true. The truth is that women make up over 50% of the global audience and 50% of art school grads. So there is a great desire to excel in this area. What's lacking are the opportunities and the risk-taking that business investors are supposed to be so great at doing. The truth is that filmmakers have fetishized destruction to a pathological degree. We've learned to love watching our world blow up, be destroyed by plagues, planets crashing, aliens, and zombies. If things don't blow up, we kind of feel like we're cheated, we're not getting our money's worth, because that's how we define a successful film these days. And the reason why is very simple. Ketchup on a screaming girl is very cheap, and it creates a great thrill. There's no doubt about that, but it's boring. Original ideas are risky, but far more rewarding. Solving any of the real-world problems in a film is a fantasy that most investors are just too afraid to get behind. But if we can't imagine it, how can we create it? In the past, artists have stood up and have imagined all kinds of positive possibilities for the future. They've imagined flying in planes, they've imagined going to other planets, they've imagined solving numerous problems which we've succeeded as a society to follow up on and to actually achieve. But now, what are the problems that we're solving in our art world, in our films and in our storytelling? When was the last time you saw a film that imagined solving one world problem, that imagined a better future in some way? Chances are it was either a very unknown film or it just never happened. So I am a woman of color, and I move millions to action with my films and photography. I create ad campaigns for commercials and create the branding for 300 leading brands from Nike to Gucci. And I was discovered by David Bowie and Iman. I've worked with many stars over a decade. I launched Beyonce's superstar career, creating her solo album Art, and campaigns for Pepsi and L'Oreal. I've won 25 awards for my films and been shown in museums from the V&A to the Brooklyn Museum and Lincoln Center. And perhaps because it's my experiences as a woman of color, that it's my social advocacy work that I'm proudest of. I've worked with 20 NGOs, I've worked with the UN, and I've learned how to help women overcome adversities to become heroes. I have a school in India that helps 300 women and children each year. I think that as women, we often don't ask for help, we don't ask for support. But women artists and filmmakers are very much in need of support from investors, and I think our global audience deserves to have alternatives to the visions that they're presented with. I believe that our future depends on inspiring and uplifting. So this is a book that I created it's called Icons, and it's a number of portraits of celebrities. And I'm working now on a new project which is called SDG Icons with the UN, which is to reframe the narrative of what it means to be an icon, from being someone that's just beautiful or entertaining to someone who actually makes a massive difference in the world. And I encourage you all to support the real icons in our world who are making massive change. Thank you.